In this video, we're going to be working with long division of polynomials. So we're going to do an example to kind of work through it. And I kind of have like a fun little way of remembering it, so hopefully you like it. So we're going to divide the polynomials and then use the result to factor the polynomial. So we're going to have 6x to the third minus 19x squared plus 16x minus 4 divided by x minus 2. So let's go ahead and let's set that up. So this might remind you of how you did division in elementary school, and it's very similar. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, I like to think of it as this being like a country, right? And that the spies over here want to infiltrate it and find all of its secrets and like bring it down. And so that's kind of like the storyline that I'm going to go with here. All right, so we have a leader of our country, and it's the leading coefficient with the highest degree. So in this case, our leader is this 6x to the third. And our lead spy is the x here, right? So let's look at that a little bit different way. So we have our lead spy, our leader of the country, and we have our lead spy. So we want to know how many times, if I take that 6x to the third, and I divide that by x, which is our lead spy, what does that give us? And that gives us a 6x squared. So we're going to take that, and we have to write that on top of the squared portion. So see how that's the squared piece, the term? So it goes on top of that. All right, so then now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that. So we're going to multiply the 6x squared times the x, which is going to give us a 6x to the third. Then we're going to multiply the 6x squared by the negative 2, which is going to give us a negative 12x squared. Now this next part is pretty important, so pay attention. What you're going to do next is you're going to change all of your symbols that you just wrote. So that's going to become a negative, and that's going to become a positive. Then you're going to add your pieces together. So this leader was brought down. That's a 0, right? Which is the whole point. The spy is trying to bring the leader down. So now we have negative 19x squared plus 12x squared gives us a negative 7x squared. Then we bring our remaining pieces down. So plus 16x minus 4. So our country's done some damage by having the spy get its data. So now we're going to look at our new leader, which is our negative 7x squared. But our spy is still the lead spy. So we're going to take that negative 7x squared, divide it by x, and go, gosh, what can the spy? So we took our new leader, divided it by our spy, and we want to know what exactly is our spy going to get from this new leader. And so negative 7 divided by 1 is negative 7. But x squared divided by x is x. So we got us something. So we're going to put this on top of our x term. So negative 7x. And now we're going to multiply just like we did before. So we're going to take negative 7 times x, which gets us negative 7x squared. Then we're going to take negative 7 times negative 2. And that's going to give us a positive 14x. And then just like we did before, we need to change our symbols. So that becomes a plus, and this becomes a minus. And then we're going to add these together. So remember, the whole point is for the leader to be brought down, because at the end, if there's no more leaders, we've taken over this country. We've toppled this country. So now we have 16x plus negative 14. So that's going to give us a 2x. We're going to bring down our negative 4. So now we see we have a new leader. Now our leader is then negative 2. So we're going to take our new leader, which is 2x, and divide it by x. So we have our new leader 2x divided by x. We want to know, what is this going to give us? 2 divided by 1 is a 2. But x divided by x that goes away. So we just have a 2. So we have a positive 2 here. And then we're going to multiply just like we did before. So 2 times x is 2x. And then 2 times negative 2 is going to be negative 4. And now we have to change our symbols. So minus, plus, then we're going to add those pieces. So that leader fell. And then we actually end up with a 0 here, which is awesome. So like, there aren't even any citizens left. So all the leaders are gone and all the citizens are gone. And our answer is going to be this top piece here. So our answer is this piece right here. Okay, so that's going to be a 6x squared minus 7x plus 2. And because there was no citizens left, no remainders, then we can just work with this. So we've divided the polynomials, and now we need to use the result, and the result is this green, blue, and purple thing, right? And we're going to factor these polynomials. Now, because my leading coefficient is a 6, and there's not a number that goes into all of them, we're going to use a disco square, where we're going to take the first number and put it in the first spot, so 6x squared, and we're going to take the last number and put it in the last spot, and we're going to multiply those. Let me scoot this over a little bit so we have a little bit more room. Okay, so I multiply those together, and so let's see, 6x squared times 2, and that's going to give us a 12x squared, right? So we already know that our x will break, and there's an x there and an x there. So we want to know what two numbers will multiply to 12 but add to negative 7. So if we use a negative 4 and a negative 3, that should multiply to positive 12 and will add to a negative 7. So we use a negative 4 and our negative 3, and then we're going to see what do these have in common. So we want to know what do those have in common, and they have a 2x in common. How about these, the negative 3x and the 2? Yeah, they don't have anything in common. So that's just going to be a 1. Now, because my lead piece is negative, I'm going to pull out a negative there. Okay? So now we're going to look here and go, what do these two, what does 6x squared and negative 3x have in common? And the answer is that they have a 3x in common. And then lastly, what does a negative 4x and a 2 have in common? And the answer is a 2. But because the first thing is negative, we get to bring a negative out. And now we're ready to write down our factored pieces. Our factored pieces are going to be here and here. So we're going to have 3x minus 2 and 2x minus 1. And it doesn't matter the order that you write those. And notice that it didn't ask us to solve. It just said to divide it, then use that result to factor. And so this was the result of our division. And then this is what we get for factor. And we're done. It's that easy.